Hello and welcome to Helena Wood's Astrology here on YouTube. Welcome to the live stream. And in today's chat, I just got out of a podcast interview and I wanted to hop on and talk about the power of place, why where you live matters, why you have a natal promise that shows you your best places in the world. My entire life changed when I moved. A lot of people know about how we have this magical treasure map when we were born with a birth chart, right? But we were also born with a map that shows us our most important places in the world. These places show us different stories, different energies, and storylines that are happening and playing out throughout our lives when we live in these locations. But also, what a lot of people don't talk about is the power of the relocation chart. There's a lot of things that you won't find on Astro Talk or on YouTube, such as midpoints, aspects, parent lines, timing, cyclocartography. And this is what I'm so passionate about. I'm passionate about going deep. And also, I've created a step-by-step method to how I teach this. And it all starts with the relocation chart. Because when you were born, that birth chart of yours, that's your forever chart. You'll always have that chart. But as you move to different parts of the world, your chart shifts and planets move to different houses. And so this foundation of relocation charts is what creates the astrocartography map. And it wasn't until the 1970s when Jim Lewis, the founder of astrocartography, created this mapping technique, but we must never forget that it was based on relocation charts. Relocation charts are so key, and we're going to be talking about that in today's live stream. And also, I'm going to be sharing a few resources to share with you so that you can get started understanding the power of place. Now, one thing you should know about me is my life changed when I moved to France in every way, and it's because of the power of the astrocartography lines and the relocation chart. So I'd love to hear from you guys. If you are here watching and tuning in live, let me know here in the chat. Let me know your name if you feel comfortable and where you're from, where you're living in the world. I'd love to connect with you guys and see where you're coming in from. So fun. And we're going to get right into this little mini masterclass. But before I do, let me know in the chat if you feel comfortable. Would love to say hello to you. Okay. Let me share my screen here. You can see. Oops. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the astrocartography map. So you can see here, this is your astrocartography map, and this is using my favorite software, Astro Gold, which I use on my Mac computer, my desktop, as well as my iPhone and my Mac laptop. I use Astro Gold pretty much across the board. I do also use SolarFire. I'm actually starting to completely switch over to Astro Gold for certain things, certain readings, like zodiacal releasing readings or transit readings. But one of the things I love about Astro Gold, and this is such an easy to use software, and if you did ever want to get this, there's a discount code I'll give you later. Helena 15 will save you 15% off if you want this. But look how we have these lines on the map. And I know this looks a little overwhelming at first, so let me just close some things down so it's not super chaotic and crazy. So here's the astrocartography map, and this shows us our power places, where they are in the world. So we can see we have a sun, we have a node here, we have a Saturn line going through Texas, going right through Houston, we have a Mercury line going close to Miami, Florida, and going up the East Coast. Now, these astrocartography lines have an orb of influence. You don't have to live right on a line. There is an orb of influence. Just because, if you were living here in Bakersfield, you'd still be getting that moon line and you'd still be getting that Jupiter line. So these astrocartography lines are like turning up the dial on a planetary archetype, and specifically a planetary archetype that's in your birth chart. This isn't just going to be a Cancer moon. This is a Leo moon. And this is a Leo moon that is, trining Mars and squaring Pluto, right? There's a lot more to the story of this moon line for you than it will be for your sister, than it will be for your best friend, than it will be for me. Our planetary lines are based on the planetary configurations in our birth chart. So if you have a sun in Libra, you're not just going to a sun in Aries line, you're going to a sun in Libra line. So this is why understanding dignity, aspects, and, you know, going even deeper into Hellenistic techniques that I use, like bonification, maltreatment, sect, right? There's a lot of things that we can use, tools to determine the story of a planetary line on the astrocartography map. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention, is that these lines are really based on your chart. Now, the second thing I just want to mention is look how the story of the life changes. And I'm going to click on this little tool up here. And I'm just going to drag, I'm going to where I was born here. See the chart on the right-hand side? We have the moon in the 10th, Jupiter in Scorpio, the sun in the 7th, and we have the Aquarius in the 4th house on the IC. Look at what changes when we move to New York. Do you see how the chart completely shifts? Do you see how the chart shifts? Oh no, this is going to be annoying. Notice how the chart shifts completely. We have Chiron in the 11th. Where is this? This isn't right. Oh, annoying. Okay. I'm not going to do this today. Okay. Mercury shadow. Here we go. I'm going to force quit this. Okay. So anyway, all of this to say, the relocation chart shifts as you shift locations. So notice how the moon was in the 10th. Now, when I move to New York, the moon will shift into a different house entirely. I become a Sag rising in New York City versus in California, I'm a Scorpio rising. There's a shift in the ascendant in the first house. We've got the moon shifting. We've got the sun shifting into the 6th house. The 6th house, which is a house placement associated with work and labor, not being seen, not being fully visible. Notice how this shift happens when the sun leaves the angular 7th house, which is a house where it's more visible and more seen and more positive. It's a good house. The 7th house is a good house in astrology. Moving the sun to the 6th house, which is technically, I hate to use the word bad, but we're going to use the word bad here. The 6th house is a bad house. It's the house of bad fortune. Notice how these shifts and changes that happen when the relocation chart moves and changes depending on where we live. This is something I don't see often talked about. And certain placements are going to be happier in certain signs, things we want to think about. Aspect, dignity, angularity. We want to move planets into places they're comfortable, into its planetary joy, or moving planets into houses that are good houses. For instance, I would much rather put Venus in the 11th house than Venus in the 12th house in a relocation chart. And this is why looking not just at the astrocartography maps, but also looking and studying in-depth relocation charts is so key and critical when we're talking about the astrology of place, because these relocation charts are showing us these stories that are unfolding for us when we move places, even traveling to different places. Even just traveling somewhere, we experience the story of that relocation chart and those astrocartography lines. Now, I'm going to try this again. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to force quit Final Cut Pro, Apple Podcasts, and I'm going to close Zoom, and we're going to reopen Astro Gold, my favorite software. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. 1 second, guys. Patience, please. Please be patient with me. Where's my, okay, there it is. Okay, so let me show you. Let me go back. Okay, so you guys see how, pull up this little feature again. CLA on the bottom right-hand corner with that wheel, New York. Jupiter moves to the 12th house. Now let's go to France. Let's go to where I'm living now. Look at this chart here. Saturn on the ascendant. We have the sun that relocated to the 3rd house. We have Jupiter in the 9th house of astrology. This is literally where I became an astrologer, was in France. Jupiter becomes the planetary ruler of the chart, ruling over Pisces, the 1st house, which is the self and the identity of who the person is. Jupiter moves to the 9th house of astrology. Do you see how the story changes when we move locations? Let's go to Australia, right? The sun moves to the 10th house, but conjunct the south node. Things from the past, apathy can come up with career-related matters. But Jupiter's in the 4th, which is the connection, the spiritual connection to the land of a place. This is absolutely how I feel when I'm in Australia and Japan with this chart. Jupiter on the IC. I feel it so strongly in these places. The love of a country, the love of a place, the love of nature, the land, the ancestry, the connection to roots to a country. There's so much here we can gather from these relocated charts. Now, I also just want to show you one other thing, and it's parents. Now, these are going to get kind of overwhelming when we first look at it, I know, but these parents are latitude lines, and they're important. These are important. We can also add aspects. Aspects can give us more nuance and information, but these parents, this is the second thing I look at aside from relocation charts and astrocartography lines. The second thing I look at is these parents because they're showing us the energy at a latitude, and what's happening here is going to be different from what's happening here, and it's going to be different from what's happening here. And that's why latitude makes or break a place. It can make or break a place. It's really important to be at a latitude for a story or an archetypal planetary storyline that we want to be in, right? A sun Saturn is going to be so different from a Venus Chiron, which is going to be very different from a moon Mercury, which is going to be very different from a sun Uranus. This is why understanding parents are so key. So key. Now, I thought I would answer some questions here in the chat. Hi, Amanda. Great to see you. Oh, you're in San Diego. Amazing. I'm from San Diego. I love San Diego. I love Californians. I love San Diegans. I miss it every day. It's painful for me to look at photos and videos of San Diego because I miss it so much. Hattie says, Helena, you look so fab in your recent photos. Thanks. Oh my gosh, that was a fun photo shoot. That was a really good time. We had music. We had a big speaker. It was a studio, and a big speaker was playing, and there was all this music, and it was really fun. Hello, Dole. Great to see you. I'm from India. Amazing. Welcome to the live stream. Amazing. I also just wanted to let you know, guys, that if you did want to go further in depth, there's a couple resources I have for you. The first resource is my cheat sheet. You can get my free cheat sheet at helenawoods.com/cheat sheet. I'll include the link down below. But this is a free resource I created for you so that you can start understanding the planetary lines and what they mean, as well as just tips and resources and advice that I have that I send to you via email. So this is such a great tool to have. If you want to get this, you just fill out this information. You get it for free, and this is a little peek at what's inside, and gives you some more information there. And then last thing I wanted to share with you is my relocation astrology course. If you ever wanted to go deep into relocation charts, into birth charts, reading relocation charts, my relocation astrology course is always open for you to get started learning this. And you can find that at, let's see, where is it? You go to courses and then go down to astrocartography right here. Start with the basics, but I gotta say this course is like the beginner basics of this course are like 5% of the course. 95% of the material is astrocartography and locational astrology for intermediate astrologers and for advanced beginners. You get all the basics in the first module of reading charts, but really, I mean, if you wanted to learn local space, if you wanted to learn parent lines, if you wanted to learn about cyclocartography, which is timing with travel, if you wanted to learn about what all the parents are, and see all the dozens of hours of examples and course material, this course is epic and includes so much. You get so much material. It's like 24 hours of content. And you can get that for free. I mean, not for free. You can get that by going to helenawoods.com/relocation-astrology, and you can find that all here. So I'll include a link to this as well as the cheat sheet you can get for free. You can get the cheat sheet for free, and you can get this course, but it's obviously it will cost. This was a big Saturn return project. Took me a lot of time putting this together, research, living experience, investment, all the things. So I will include links to both of these in the chat. And also I thought I would answer any questions that you guys have. So feel free to chime in, let me know in the chat, and I'm here to support you, answer any astrocartography questions that you have. My My Mercury in Gemini speaks a little too fast sometimes. Mercury and Gemini problems. We talk a mile a minute. And there's the course. And then lastly, one other thing, if you did ever want to get Astro Gold, which is my preferred software, just use the code Helena15 and you'll get 15% off after Astro Gold. All right, let's see the questions. Any questions here? And I use this software for astrology, timing, astrocartography, all the things. Fran said, loved the Fate of Ophelia video. Oh, the video I made. Oh, yeah, I know. Well, the music video for Taylor Swift. So good. So good. I know I did the little dance. Thank you so much, of course, from Prince Edward Island. Oh, Fran, you're in Prince Edward Island. How magical. It's a beautiful part of the world. That's incredible. Close to my Jupiter ascendant and Neptune descendant line. I love it. How do you love it, Fran? Fran, how do you love those astrocartography lines, Jupiter ascendant and Neptune? Very dreamy, very ethereal, very spiritual. How is it for you? Which line is best for both marriage and career success? Depends on your birth chart. If you go online and you go on YouTube, they'll say, oh, a Venus line is best for marriage and success would be a Sun MC or Jupiter MC. It depends on your chart. If you have, an afflicted sun, I'm not going to recommend you go to a Sun MC line. If you have an afflicted Jupiter, I'm not going to recommend you go to a Jupiter line. Look at the aspects, look at the dignity of your chart, and that will give you a lot of information. Hello, can you specify the orb of influence for parents? Parents are 70 miles and astrocartography lines are way more, like hundreds of miles, 600 miles. I like to use, when we're talking about wanting to activate a big story for someone, I ideally want to get it within 200 miles. But you don't have to live on an astrocartography line, but it really depends on the person and what they want in their life. This is why I do client consultations, because every person is so different and their needs and what they desire is different. So it really depends on what season of life are you in. Are you kind of in a ramping up, let's go, I'm ready to build something in my life kind of energy? Or are you retired and wanting to chill out a little bit more? I'm probably not going to recommend you live exactly right on an astrocartography line unless it's a really beautiful planet in your chart aspect-wise and everything. How bad is it to live in a location where Mars squares my midheaven? I wouldn't worry about that, Mars squaring the midheaven. You're talking about like an aspect line on your astrocartography map. I'm not concerned about that. Mars square the midheaven can give you a little bit of frustration or impatience at times with building your career. Maybe there's some challenges or frictions or frustrations that come up with a boss or a coworker, or something, people that you work with and related to your job. Could also be like impulsivity, related to reputation, career matters, public image things, but it's definitely not something that I would be like, oh, that's a make it or break it. That's difficult. We can't do that. Who asked this question, I would much rather you focus on the parents. And also there's some much more difficult aspect lines that are way more challenging than Mars square the MC. I love the moon. I love the Jupiter line. Beautiful, beautiful. Carter says, I'm an artist and I would like to know where I should live to have my career as an artist take off. Where should I look for in your chart? Well, Carter, I would look to your birth chart. How is your Venus in your chart? How is that situated by aspect? Aspect is the relationship between planets. So as an example, let me give you a quick example, Carter. Show you. So what we're going to do is we want to look at these aspects here. So let's say, for instance, for your creative artist, right? Okay, I'm going to look at your Venus line first. I'm going to first look at the Venus line. If your Venus is in a really tricky position, let's say, let's go to like, that's not that bad. If you had a more challenging Venus, right? Let's say, Venus and Sag is fine, but it's squaring Neptune. This is an example of an afflicted Venus. Neptune is not a malefic in traditional astrology, but it does create distortion. The fact that it's squaring very tightly to that Venus can cause some challenges with seeing things clearly, or confusion, or escapism, lethargy even. So living on a Venus line might not be as supportive for you as if you were born, when Venus is in Libra and it's in a better configuration, right? Like this would be a nicer configuration. The trine from like Pluto trine Venus would be a lot of power and confidence and charisma and magnetism. So this is why looking at these things, these aspect lines, these are so important. Now, I do like to have the aspect lines in the middle. You don't have to have the aspect lines in the middle. You could take them off. You just go to preferences and you can take these off so that they're not showing. I personally like to see them here. I also like to add a couple of different things. Like I like to add the lots. This is the 7 hermetic lots, which I actually just spoke about a couple of these in my recent video on the 10 things that you're missing, the secrets in your birth chart that you don't know about. If you go in Astro Gold to lots and parts, actually, I'll show you how to do this. You go to preferences, displayed. These are my settings. So I have all these planets, I have Chiron, I have the nodes, the 4 angles, and I have the part of fortune. I go to add extra points. I click on lots and parts, 7 hermetic lots, and I'm always adding courage. I'm always adding spirit. And I like to add victory too. You can also add some other ones too, like if we do some other different, there's so many different, like look at all these parts. There's so many of them, but you could add the part of success, right? There's different things you can add so you can see different parts of the chart added to the birth chart. So this is a really great feature and why I love Astro Gold so much is you can add that. You can add a lot of different things to a chart. But again, you want to look at the aspects. You want to look at dignity, which is the sign placement that the planet is in and the relationships. Does that planet see other planets? Are they in relationship with other planets? And noting what relationships they're in. And this is why it's so important when we're talking about astrology, reading charts, timing, but of course, locational astrology as well. I use Immundo, Erin. I find Immundo to be way more accurate when we're talking about astrocartography mapping. You can use Zodiacal as well, but personally in my own experience and with clients, I've noticed the Immundo is holds up a lot more consistently than Zodiacal. Like, I've had clients who with Zodiacal, a Pluto line will be there, but there's nothing Plutonian about that place. It resonates more with the Pluto line that's on the Immundo map. So I hope that helps, Erin. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Carter. Yes, dog. I love this question. Do you find that when someone has a strong soul level connection with someone, romantic or otherwise, that their astrocartography charts line up also? Yes. I find a lot of my clients, their families line up, like all the members of the family. I just had a client reading 5 people. Now, 2 of those people, they're twins. So they were born like 4 minutes apart. So it's not super different. But 5 people, 4 very different charts and maps, right? But they were all in alignment with their best places. In Europe, we picked one place in Europe that was the best, and we picked one place in the United States and Canada that was the best. And all 5 people were in alignment. Best lines, best astrocartography, best relocation charts. So yes, and I see this a lot. I see this with clients. I have family consultations, client consultations with couples. They're often in alignment. Now, this doesn't mean all the time. And just because, someone is in alignment, it means anything bad about the relationship, not at all. But there is something very soul connected about when I see people's charts and they've been together forever, or like their family dynamic, they have a lot of flow. Now, sometimes, and this happened recently with my clients of 5 I had recently, a big family call. There were some places where some people in the family had really great lines, but then other people had challenging lines. So that does happen too. This is why it gets a little harder to pick the one place. But in this example, we were able to find one place in Europe and one place in North America. Can you please share a little bit more about the consultation details? Yes. Well, you can go over to helenawoods.com/readings. I'll provide a link here. And you know what you guys can do is if you do want to get on my wait list, I'm not opening up readings till February of 2026. I open up readings about once every 4 months. I do have a very long wait list, But if you get on that wait list, I will email you when consultations are ready to go. And I do offer consultations to only the people on my wait list. Now, if you do want to get an earlier session, you can always book. If you want someone as soon as possible that knows all of the things that we've been talking about today, you can always book a reading with your aligned astrocartographer at helenawoods.com/directory, which I'll include a link down below. Jupiter rules my 5th planet plus Chiron, stellium, Sag MC, South Node, Neptune, Scorpio. Very cool. I think I need to live by the water. Yeah. You know where you're meant to go. If you feel like you need to live by water, live by water. I actually went just into the Akashic Records a week ago. And I went into the Akashic Records because every once in a while, I am guided to open up the records, and it'll be random. It'll be sudden. It'll be like a lightning bolt. It'll be like, you need to open up the records. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, Spirit, we're going to open up the records. So I opened up the Akashic Records, and I only got one piece of information when I was in there. And by the way, I do talk about what the Akashic Records are and how to read them on my blog. You can also find a YouTube video. If you search on my YouTube channel here, you'll find a video about it. But I was told in the Akashic Records, you need to live by water. That was all I was told. It was all I was told. It was given a visual and a knowing feeling in my body. You need to live by water. And when you know, and you need to follow your callings and honor your intuition. No matter what the astrocartography says, if you feel called to move somewhere, to be somewhere, follow your instincts, follow your guidance, follow the calling. Your soul knows, your intuition knows. The astrology and the astrocartography is simply a reflection of that which you already feel. You can't get this wrong. So trust yourself. Are you able to get a feel for which locations may or may not increase or decrease occurrences of illness, injury, death? Yes. I have a workshop I'm putting together. I've been doing research extensively for over a year on health and injuries in relation to location. That will be coming out. It's going to be a full in-depth, like 2.5-hour workshop that will be coming out at some point in 2026. But yes, there are places, and I recommend that you look into the ascendant, the relocated ascendant, and the 6th house and the moon. Those are the 3 things I really encourage you to look at. 2023, oh, you started doing paid astrology readings in 23 when Pluto went into your 10th house in the relocated chart. Amazing. Amazing. In a relocation chart or a natal chart in that place, how else can I pull a relocation chart using free software? Hattie, I would recommend going to AstroSeek, astro-seek.com for that. There's a relocation chart feature there. Amazing, guys. Well, so great to connect with you. I love popping on these lives. I just got off of a podcast and I had my hair done today, and I was like, we need to make use of this, whether it's doing a live stream or teaching or something. Any other questions? Anything else that I can support you with today? I miss San Diego every minute of every day, and I can't wait to go back. I'm waiting for Mercury to station direct at the end of the month into December. I'm going to go back to San Diego in December. I'm so excited. And that's something else. I should make a whole video on this. I feel like you guys understand on YouTube, but let me tell you, on Instagram, people don't understand that, I make videos and I talk about how the US is going to be going through major changes and how the US will be going through chaos over these next 7 years. And people think that's fear-mongering. It's not fear-mongering to me. This is the astrology. These are cycles that happen every 84 years. We know this is expected. And we will get through this hard time. We will get through these challenging times. We will get through it. We will be okay at the end. This isn't, all the things I say. The astrology coming up for the US, it's not like people come to me and they're like, is it going to be nuclear war? Is it going to be end of the world? No, not at all. I don't see that in the charts at all. Devastating end of the world type of conflict in the chart, I'm not seeing that. And so I think a lot of people, we think of chaos, we think of disruption, and yes, we think of war, and we think of worst case possible scenario. As an astrologer, my job, my role is to inform the people, to inform the public as a messenger, a translator of the foreign language that is astrology. I interpret the glyphs, I share the information from a very stoic, non-emotional, non-biased. All the people on the internet who say I'm biased, I'm not. Actually, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I'm not. But anyway, I come from a very stoic, non-emotional place of these are the facts, this is the information, these are the transits. And the US is going through crazy stuff over the next 7 years. However, this does not mean that you yourself should move and leave the US out of fear. In fact, if you feel fear, if you feel like you want to run away, I urge you, I implore you, do not, unless your safety is at risk. You know, if your safety is at risk, then yes, please move. But if you want to stay in your country where you live, you should be where you want to be. And I empower people to lean into courage and to be strong, spiritually strong people so that we can ride any challenge in any wave. It is important that we be able to look at astrology from this non-emotional, non-reactive place. And so you guys on YouTube, you guys understand all this. You guys get it. But on Instagram, the amount of people who tell me that I'm fear-mongering and I'm, all these awful names because I'm simply saying the astrology and giving updates and informing the people that if you want to move already and you've already been wanting to move, I'm just letting you know, now's a good time to put a game plan together. Now's a good time to put a game plan in motion. Okay? But I also want to say this. I had a client yesterday and she wanted to move out of fear. And I told her, I said, what do you want if there was no fear? If you had no fear, where would you want to live? And she was like, the US. And I was like, that's where you should live. Do not move to Europe because of fear. Move to Europe if that's something you really want to do because it's in your heart and it's your truth and your values are aligned with wherever that place is. When you make an informed decision from a place of trust and peace and calm, not fear, that is how you know, because the intuition does not feel fearful. The intuition is not afraid. The intuition is always peaceful and trusting and always living in the present moment. My intuition, what does my intuition tell me? Water, like I just shared in this example. Water. My intuition tells me Europe. My intuition tells me, however, that I'm going to want to spend 2 to 3 months every year in California and San Diego going forward. I can see that. January to March every year I spend in San Diego, Orange County, Dana Point, my favorite. Where are my fellow Dana Point people? Orange County people, where are you? But do you know what I mean? Like my intuition feels that peaceful, loving, calm knowing in my heart and my stomach. And the astrocartography and the relocation charts and the timing is simply a reflection, a mirror of that which I already know and that which I feel. So I don't live my life in fear. But you'd be surprised how my posts talking about these things trigger so many people's deepest fears. And it's like nervous system regulation work, people. We've got to learn how to harness our intuition and trust in our intuition. My inner voice and my intuition, my inner guidance system is always steering the ship. Always. I trust in my instincts 100%. And it's never led me astray. Instincts, intuition, gut knowing. Scorpio placements understand. Let's see. Yeah, Carter had a very interesting question. I already answered that though. I've been you guys can watch the replay. I'll post the replay so you guys can watch this later if you want. I've been massively attracted to water since I was a small child. Oh yeah, look at all that Scorpio placements, Fran. That's me. I have to live by water, but not in the cold. Exactly. I feel you. Would astrologers be able to determine large-scale events like war or natural disasters? Yes, dog. I recommend reading the book Geodetic Astrology for Relocating and World Affairs. This book, you can learn all about that stuff. I highly recommend it. I also have a new freebie I'm putting together that'll be coming out very soon, probably in the next 3 days. I have a new video coming up on geodetic astrology I'll be posting very soon. Just a final question. What's the dotted lines on Astro Gold compared to the solid lines? Yes, so you have the angular lines, like the midheaven line, right? So actually, let me show you. I'm just going to share a screen with you guys can see. So they're the astrocartography lines. They're the astrocartography lines, nothing different in terms of that. However, let me show you. So this is a great question. So when we have straight lines like this, like solid lined astrocartography lines, they're lines that represent the ascendant or the midheaven, the most external part of the chart. Well, I would say the ascendant is actually more about who you are and your identity, but it's so important. And the midheaven is really important because it's about your career, your public image, how people see you. So the ascendant and the midheaven, the AC and the MC lines on your map will be solid. And the lines that are dotted will be the IC lines and the descendant. So this is about other people and relationships. So not really you, but other people. And the IC represents your family and your living situation, right? So these are going to be dotted lines. The IC and the descendant are dotted, and the ascendant and midheaven lines are going to be solid. So when you see that on your astrocartography map, and definitely get my software, Astro Gold. This is my preferred software. Everything. The only things they don't have on this is they have parents, you can see. And look, I can also see just like Jupiter parents, which is really cool. I love that. I can also I can filter it, which is really great. The only thing it doesn't have is midpoints, which I don't think everyone should need to use midpoints. It's not like a make it or break it like parents are, or relocation charts in the astrocartography lines themselves, but midpoints can really pinpoint some specific areas, like specific towns, specific small areas that are really cool. Like when I see a Sun Jupiter midpoint or a Venus Jupiter midpoint, it's like people routinely say, "Oh, I love that place," and it's like, "Oh, you don't have any astrocartography lines here, but you do have a Venus Jupiter midpoint," you know. We have the geodetic lines, very important, and then of course the local space. The local space is really cool too. So love these things. You can see as we move, very, very helpful. We can relocate these local space lines. Let's relocate them to Tampa. Boom. And we can see from Tampa where these energies are going through. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent as the Mercury and Gemini tends to do. We go on tangents. Anyway, I hope this helps. Amazing. And if you guys want to go deeper, definitely check out my courses. I would say the one that I always recommend people start with is the Relocation Astrology course. I'll include a link down below. But if you don't want the full in-depth big course with dozens of hours of course material and learning about relocation charts and how to read them, if you didn't want to get a full investment like that, I recommend getting my Astro Gold Made Easy course, which is a lot more affordable of a price if you're tight on budget. You know, this is a more affordable price. And I also have a free thing too. I'm always creating free things for you guys. I'm always thinking of ways that I can support you, whether it's free content or free downloads. I have a new free download that's coming out in a couple of days. But there's my free cheat sheet. If you want to get my free cheat sheet, just click this link above and you'll get all my free tips, advice, stories, and inspiration via email on my astrocartography newsletter, which is amazing. Love your confidence and ability to totally trust your intuition. Places do create challenge or success for sure. A bit challenging in families with very different charts. Yeah, totally. I feel you. I feel you, YC. It can be very challenging, especially the more people that you bring into an interpretation. You bring in more and more people into the family mix. It can be harder. I always say though, my best advice is always to start with the families. Start with the parents. Start with the parents always. That's my go-to piece of advice for anyone who's like, oh my gosh, like, how do I even begin? You know, this is so confusing to look at so many people. I know, and it's overwhelming. And I feel for you. I also have created a free gift right here. I just put in the chat box called Mapping Mysteries Revealed. And this is a 3-part audio series where I talk about the 3 most common questions that I get as an astrocartographer, and I provide answers for you. And you can get those for free just through that experience right there. I am making marinara sauce for my homegrown tomatoes, so only paying partial attention. That is okay, Fran. Enjoy making marinara. I kind of want, oh God, you're making me hungry, Fran. I'm a very visual, imaginative person. So like you telling me that you're making marinara sauce from your homegrown tomatoes, I'm like literally imagining it in my head, this simmering sauce, the bubbles. Oh, I wish my husband was here. He's the cook in the family. He always makes me his famous tomato sauce pasta. Love it so much. Enjoy, Fran. I hope you're having a wonderful time and enjoying it. Love it. Simple joys. Simple joys. All right, guys, have a magical day. I'll see you in the next video where we're going to be talking about geodetic astrology. So stay tuned. I'll see you for the next video. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments of this video, and I'll post this live stream so you guys can watch it back. Have a great day. Bye. Bye, everyone.